That's it? Oh, okay. Put this in the middle. Oh, this is bigger.
That's why I put it.
I'll do it like this. Because otherwise it... That's okay.
There is just a little bit.
Yeah, okay now?
Everyone gets a flower. All the flowers.
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Discussing what is called the manomaya kosha. Manomaya is what? What does it consist of? Manomaya kosha, the mind and the emotions and the organs, sense organs. No, organs of action are pranamaya. Manomaya is the sense organs along with the mind is called manomaya. It is an instrument for knowing. That's why it's an inner instrument. That's why it's called antaha, inner, karanam, antah karanam. Karana means instrument. And we saw that it is extremely forceful, meaning what? In its identification with what? With what comes and goes, all the thoughts, it keeps identifying. And it's extremely forceful because it does not let go. It makes the finite into infinite. It has that capacity. And it just will not let go. It holds on to all the notions, mostly wrong ones. The right ones it forgets. It holds on to all the wrong notions and then beats the person on the head with those notions, does not let go. That's why it is called Baliyan. And we saw why the mind cannot be Atma. Did we see that? Why the mind cannot be Atma? Why? Because it aganta, just like the Vayu, it is ganta, aganta, it comes and goes, aganta, ganta. And what else? It is a vikara, it is a modification. And also it is something to see. It is an object. It cannot be the subject. No, we haven't seen the manomaya. We saw the pranamaya. I don't think we have seen it. Yeah, we are yet to see that. Yeah. So this is the thing. Yeah, we are yet to see that. We just did what is the mind. And now we will see. Actually, we can interpolate the reasons even without reading verse 51. Or if you're having the whole book, Vivekachudamani, it is 185. So, even without knowing, we can interpolate the reasons because the vrittis, the thoughts are finite and then Atma is infinite, and so therefore this is a big difference. So let us read why specifically the manomaya cannot be Atma. Manomayo napi bhavet paramatma.
Manomaya napi bhavet paramatma.
Hyadyantavattvat.
Hyadyantavattvat.
Parinami bhavat.
Parinami bhavat.
Dukkhatmakatvat.
Dukkhatmakatvat.
Vishayatva hetoho.
Vishayatva hetoho.
Drashta hi drishyamanataya na drishtaha. Drashta hi drishyamanataya na drishtaha. Yeah. So, manomayaha na bhavet. Mano Atma. Up till now, they were talking only of Atma. Then suddenly Paramatma came. What is this Paramatma? Paramatma means Ishvara. which is the same as Atma alone. So manomaya cannot be Atma, cannot be this thing that we are talking about, that is not subject to conclusions and confusions, and that is free of all attributes, free of all notions. This is the vastu, this is the only thing which is the truth of the I, the one that is non-dual and whole that we are talking about. And then this manomaya, which is a modification of the mind, especially with reference to its emotive and indecisive faculty. How can the indecisive faculty be Atma? Because if the indecisive faculty is Atma, it will say, wait a minute, I'm Atma. No, I'm not. What? Am I Atma? Am I not? The whole day one will be going back and forth like this. When one identifies with the mind, there is a lot of back and forth. Did I turn off the stove? Did I lock the door? Yes, I locked the door. No, I don't think I locked the door. Maybe I did lock the door. This indecision, Should I study Vedanta? I think it's a good idea. No, I think I'll pass. There's always another life. No, I want it now. This is the mind. How can it be Atma? Because then it will say, I am not, I am not. Nobody says that. The I am is that I am which never goes away. And so here the reasons given are very clear. Adi antavatvat. Adivat and antavat. Adi means beginning. Adivan. Adivat. Adivan means the one who has beginning. And then antavan, the one who has end. So Adivat and Antavat, because it is neuter, Manas is neuter, so Adivat and Antavat. So Adivat means the one which has a beginning. So the mind has a beginning, correct? Yeah. So from no mind comes the mind, and from there it goes back to never mind, right? So it has a beginning, it has an end, and also in between the time that it exists, there are many beginnings and ends. Before a thought, the mind is in repose, and then it comes to life with the thought, it takes the form of the thought, and then after the thought, what happens? It goes back again to a causal state. In between the thoughts, it is still there, but it is very much, what's the word for it? Has beginning. It's a finite thing. It's a product of the five elements. We can keep on adding. It is a finite entity. And then what? Parinami bhavat. It is a parinami, means it is a product. Yeah. It is a product of the five elements. The sattva aspect of the five elements makes up the mind. And so it is a product in the sense that it is a object of the creation, meaning again there was a time when it wasn't, and there's going to be a time when it's not going to be. And then what? Parinami bhavat. This is very interesting. Dukkhatmakatvat. Dukkhatmakatvat means being of the nature of sorrow. Yeah. Yeah. Being of the nature of sorrow. Oh, I thought mind is happy, but then it is why sorrowful? But what about happiness? Because mind should be happy and unhappy. We should use both. But here we are dividing up the aspect of the mind. The anandamaya, when we discuss, that is the place, the modification of ananda, when we discuss the bhokta, the person as a experiencer of things, that is where we will have a discussion of what? The ananda, happiness. Here we will have the mind is a place which invites sadness, really. Yeah, the kind of the mind we are talking about. We should not take the mind in the traditional, sense, that we, in the contemporary sense, we have to look at it more as a Vedic definition of the mind, which is the thought patterns, the indecisive faculty, connected thought patterns, and the emotions, really. Emotions, we mean excesses of all the negative emotions, kama, krodha, etc. This is what the mind is. So this is basically the mind. So then the other failing is what? It is vishayatva hetuhu, meaning what? It is a cause for objectification, because when I look at the mind, it is not the subject, it is an object. Why is it an object? Because I say my mind is restless. More often I say I am restless. That's the identification. Mind is restless. Mind is, having sorry thoughts. Mind is turbulent. Mind is not at peace. Mind is disturbed. This is what, I keep saying. Which means what? That I, the one who is the Veta, the knower of the mind, is separate from the mind. So Vishayatva Hetu means it's an object of my perception. So who is this I? Who is perceiving the mind? You see how we are going further and further away? It's like we are zooming out starting from the body. First the camera was zooming on the body. Then we zoomed out a little, got a little more space. I'm not just this body. I'm the observer of the body, zoomed out some more. And then I'm the observer of what? The prana. Then zoomed out even more, I'm the observer also of the mind, which most of the time runs my life. Yeah. When I forget to be in the place of the observer, when I don't understand that this is who I am, not even forget, when I don't know this, when I misidentify with what? With the thoughts and the effect of those thoughts, then what happens? It becomes the cause for sorrow. Samsara starts there. This is the ABC of samsara. Maybe SAM of samsara. So this is something which is interesting to know, because when I am incapable or unable to zoom out and go back to that I which is the witness of everything, then the witness very quickly becomes witless. Yeah, this is what happens. So the mind becomes a storehouse of sorrow because of the wrong identification. And I have told you this many times before. Give me any word and I can make everyone sad in 1 minute or less. Any word. We've done this. We've done this. Anything you give, you can think of anything. You just take the word convention. Finished. Yeah. You don't even need to say anything further. You don't even need to say which convention. Yeah. Because, both are equally problematic. So, anyhow, so this is, this is something, the mind is like that. It latches on to the thought, the end process of the thought, and thinks that that is the truth. Whereas the thought has come and gone, it is attaching to a result that is not even there. The thought has come and gone. But it is attaching to a certain thing that is not even there. And, we hear that story of the two monks who were walking, and then one woman was there in distress. She had to cross the river. They were walking by the river. You've heard that story. And then she could not swim. She had to get to the other side, and there was no boat. And one of the monks said, "Here, I will pick you up and take you to the other side." So he just put her down on the other side, and they both started to walk again. And the first monk who was watching this, aghast, kept berating him for 45 minutes, saying, haven't you taken a vow of not looking at women and not touching women, and here you are picking them up, and why did you do this, and how could you do this, and you have brought the whole monkhood down. And what is the first monk say? The first monk said, I already put her down 45 minutes ago and you are still carrying her. You are still carrying her. So who has violated the taboos, Because you are the one who carried her longer, really speaking. I already put her down, it's already gone. So the identification with the mind, this is the result. Because one keeps on berating oneself or another. In fact, when one berates another, it's actually one is berating oneself. Sometimes one is, the spotlight is shining within and one doesn't like what one sees. That also makes one sad. Or then you get tired of the spotlight shining and you put it outside, and there also the strobe goes and does not like what it sees. It's all here, really. So whenever I have a problem with the world, we have to ask, where is the world located? Where is the world located? Huh? It's right here in the 8-inch, 6-inch space between the temples. It's right here. This is where the world is located. It's not outside. It is right here. Because what I see outside goes through a filtering process. I mean, I'm not trying to be a relativist and saying all this. I'm imagining that we are sitting in an imaginary classroom, maybe on the net, but So we are sitting in an imaginary classroom and I am an imaginary being, as are all of you. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is something else. Is that this world is incapable of producing sorrow. It's not possible. So for the world to translate into sorrow, in my mind, there has to be a certain process of identification with that instrument which is translating incorrectly the objects and bringing it back to the subject. That is what it is. So there is a lot of things. Have you heard the expression lost in translation? Yeah. What is lost in translation? Rope snake. Yeah. So what is the eyes are seeing what? Rope. And the mind is seeing what? Snake. Where is the snake? It's right there. And it's the incorrect perception. Why? Because one is wedded. In the absence of this knowledge, one is wedded to the thought process and a powerful projection for which the raw materials are one's own prejudices and preferences. Ragadveshas become the fodder for the misperceptions. So the ragadveshas are powerfully projected outside, and one is constantly going through the mental process of judging. As soon as one wakes up, one has got this judgment disease. You don't even have to wait till judgment day. Every day is judgment day. Morning, oh, what's wrong? What is hurting? What is paining? Already judgment. Oh, how will I carry through the day? Everything is aching. One judgment. And somehow one gets out of bed, It's a miracle. It's magic. Then, upon getting out of bed, another judgment. Oh, I can't find something, whatever it is. Where is my cup? Where is the coffee? Where is this? Where is that? Who did this? Who misplaced this? How did this happen? Another judgment. Then the day hasn't even started. And then someone rings. Who can be calling at this ungodly hour? Third judgment. And then you look at what is that when it comes?
Caller ID.
Caller ID. You look at the caller ID. See, I knew they always call when they want something. And they must be wanting something, you know. Yeah, I don't know why this does that.
I don't know.
Too. It should not go to sleep.
I know.
Yeah. Here we are.
Vedanta student.
Vedanta student. Yeah. So then the whole day is lived in this is correct, this is not right, why is not this happening, and why should not that happen. The whole day is lived through this. And it's okay, the judgment comes. So the caller ID comes. See, I know they want something, they are calling. I know what they want also. Annoyingly pick up the phone. And actually, that person is inviting you for a party. You don't have to bring anything, you just come. Oh, how nice! Oh, wonderful! So, this judgment, and it's okay if the judgment is there, if one is able to drop it immediately, because the judgment is a thought, correct? So, the thought comes and goes. So, let it go. But what one does is chase after the thoughts. Or if one is a yogi, one tries to not have thoughts. That is also equally bad. Because if I keep saying I don't want to have a thought, I don't want to have a thought, I want to have no thought, I want no thought, that becomes a thought, right? In fact, that became 5 thoughts already. So the mind is a very funny thing. Most of the time you feel like saying never mind, because it's difficult to understand. So the mind weaves a whole tapestry of its perceptions based on the threads of prejudices and preferences. It weaves its own creation of how it thinks the world is, based on what it sees here. And then it projects that powerfully onto what is not that. This is what is called adhyasa, a superimposition based on one's own subjectivity, which the mind is convinced is objective. That is why it is called baliyan. It's very powerful because it believes in what it sees. And it will never take any other viewpoint as even a possibility. The stronger the raga dvesha, the less I will take the possibility that what somebody else is saying may have truth in it. I know you don't like me. No, 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 that is not true. No, 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 I know you don't like me. How did you think that? Well, there were these instances. What were the instances? You walked by, you didn't look at me. Well, I didn't know you were there. Or I was in my own thought. No, no, you did it on purpose. I don't think I did it on purpose. I mean, this can go on and on. Yes, you did it on purpose. Okay, that's fine. What was the other thing? Well, you didn't do this. You forgot a birthday. You forgot some important date. No, but then I, made up for it. No, but that was not good enough. This is how it is. Or the mind compares. With me, you are like this, but with the other person, you are like that. So, therefore, there is a difference. And I know what I saw. And I'm not going to change my perception based on any kind of a explanation that you may have to offer. This is why the mind is called dukkhatmaka, that which makes one sad. Makes the people around you sad, it makes you yourself also very sad. So therefore, these are the reasons why it cannot be Atma. Vishayatva hetoho, yeah, we have covered. And because the seer is never an object of sight, it is the seer is never an object of sight. This we have to understand. Because I The one who sees the mind is different from the mind. Mind is I. I am not just the mind. I am limitless. I am whole. So I am far beyond that mind. Mind, of course, cannot exist without I. But I, can it exist without the mind? Yes, it does. And so, therefore, the I cannot be seen. Why? It's not an object, it is the nature of the seer. The one who sees is I. And the seer cannot see oneself. Seer cannot see the seer, because the seer is the seer of everything, and the seer is limitless. Oh, but I can never experience the I. You're experiencing the I all the time. Even when you say that, who is saying that? I am saying that. So without the I, can you even think? No. So every thought you're experiencing the I, every minute you're experiencing the I. One is not shy of experience. One is shy of knowledge, because every experience is as good as what you know about it, correct? That's why people come to me and say, I had this experience, can you please interpret it? And when you say interpret, that means we are already walking in the realm of knowledge. So this is something which is very interesting. So the mind is an object or a subject. Which is it? It's an object. Because I notice the judgments, I notice the thoughts, I notice the mind attaching to the thoughts, I notice the I notion attaching to the mind, and I notice the I notion being dragged around by the mind and losing its focus, losing its perspective. And the witness is always there. So the mind is an object, not the subject. So zooming out a little more, next one. बुद्धिर्बुद्धीन्द्रियैर्सार्धम् बुद्धिर्बुद्धीन्द्रियैः सार्धम् सवृत्तिः कर्तृलक्षणः विज्ञानमयकोशस्यात् पुंसः संसारकारणम्. Yeah, so the next kosha, moving on. What is the next kosha? Vignanamaya kosha. Vignanam means the doer. The mind, of course, is the undecided one. And another aspect of the mind is the decided one, the decisive faculty of the mind, along with the intellect and the 5 sense organs. Know that the sense organs are shared between the 2 koshas, which are they? The mind, the manomaya and vignanamaya and anandamaya also. The sense organs are shared. So the 5 sense organs, along with the faculty of decision and the intellect, comprise what is called the vignanamaya. The knower, the doer. Because the knower becomes the doer, correct? Yeah. And then, so buddhihi, buddhindriyaihi sardham. So this assemblage of organs, along with the sense organs and the intellect, what happens? Savrittihi, along with the thought modifications also. Kartrilakshanaha. Which is the thought modification here? I am the doer. The main thought is what? I am the author. I am the doer. I am the one that is, in charge of all this. This is the kartrilakshanaha. So it is identified with the thoughts, and it is also identified with a sense of doership. And then what? Vignanamaya koshaha syat. This is called Vignanamaya Kosha. And what does it do? Pumsaha, for the person, samsara karanam, gives a gift of samsara. Vignanamaya binds the person into samsara with golden threads. That's all. Tassels attached to the bottom. One can feel good, but then one is in a cage. So how does this happen? It's all where the I notion rests. Yeah. So here, when we have zoomed further from the mind, there is a sense of the knower, correct? Who is the knower? The knower of discrete objects and the knower of all the things that are happening to the body mind sense complex. And that is also that I notion, the ahankara, that is there, and it claims everything as I, me, mine, just like we saw in manomaya. This is also saying I am this, this body is mine, this body is not mine. It delineates. So the vignanamaya and manomaya, there is a lot of overlaps. So the vignanamaya also delineates. It categorizes, it makes inferences about what belongs to it and what doesn't belong to it. And it gives itself a little pedestal. It thinks of itself as the king of the body mind sense complex. I'm the one who is noticing everything. And then if you ask, when did you come? And the response is, I came yesterday. Who is it that's saying I came yesterday? It's not the mind, because that's still deciding. Where did I come? Did I not come? Did I arrive or have I yet to arrive? It's not the mind. It's not the prana. Prana doesn't talk. Prana doesn't think. Prana doesn't have vrittis. It's not the, body. Then who is the one who says, I arrived yesterday? Vignanamaya. Vignanamaya is the one who says, I came, I went, I'm going to go, I eat. Who ate that? I ate that. See, the act of eating, the actor is what we are talking about. The actor, the I, the identification with the actor is called Vignanamaya. Identification with the actor and the knower, both, is Vignanamaya. And so this is very interesting, because this is a very difficult kosha to cross. Because I feel like this is very hard to observe, because you have zoomed out, and then here is where you meet this kingly creature, in the thought realm, who says, I am everything, I am this, I am that. Oh, Vedanta I already know. Why? Because I studied one Upanishad in my last life, and I already know. Been there, done that, know that. And so, what do you think of Vedanta? It doesn't do anything. It has concluded, you see. The other kosha will at least flip flop. Flip flop, yeah? Yeah. The other kosha will flip. I thought that was the name for slippers. Oh, it is. Okay, and it is also this. Yeah, but then this is also because it is like this. Okay, yeah, all right, got it. So, yeah, right. So the mind flip-flops, but the Vijnanamaya is convinced, oh, this knowledge doesn't work. Why? Because nothing gets past me. I'm the one in charge. I should know, this is Brahman. Yeah, big deal. Somebody keeps talking, you are everything, you are Brahman. You think moksha is so easy to get? Come on, forget it. So what should I do then? Go have fun. Little bit of moksha is all that you need. Who is talking now? Vijnanamaya. The knower, it is very hard to unseat the knower, because it carries a bag of notions. It's very charming, like the seller of the snake oil, and it is extremely persuasive, and it completely charismatic, and it is one of the decisive faculty of the intellect. And what does this decisive faculty do? The decisive faculty, what does it do? It says, this is it. This is it. I am convinced that you are an idiot. The decisive faculty will tell itself. I am convinced I am an idiot. I am convinced this knowledge doesn't work. I am convinced that nothing and no one can help me. But I thought you wanted to be rescued. Yes, but nobody can help me. It's like it sets up an impossible situation which cannot be permeated. Very difficult. cannot be permeated. It says that all these notions are correct. Oh, but you have to drop the notions. Let the notions drop. No, I cannot drop. Why should I drop? What will happen? At least I'm holding on to something. Why are you taking away that? This is all the vignanamaya. And what does this vignanamaya do? In fact, it is the actor of all actions. The actor and the knower is the vignanamaya. In fact, when I'm talking, who am I talking to? I'm not talking to your prana. I'm not talking to your Atma, because your Atma is my Atma. Same, there's only one Atma. And is Atma ignorant or knowledgeable? What's your guess? Yeah. It is all knowledge, jnanam. So then Atma doesn't need the knowledge, correct? Body could care less. You are Brahman. You tell the body, oh hand, you are Brahman. What will the hand say? Bye bye. I mean, it doesn't care. Yeah, it doesn't care. And you tell the prana. Prana has a doubt. It's a doubtful prana, and the prana is told you are Brahman. Nothing happens to it. Correct? And you tell the mind, manomaya, you are Brahman. But the manomaya is just a receptacle. It's a receptacle of doubt. That's all it is. And judgment and all kinds of flipping and flopping. That is the manomaya. So you tell the manomaya, you are Brahman. And what will it say? Am I? I don't think so. Oh, maybe I am. Oh, I don't know. Interesting thought. So, who is the one that I'm talking to? Who is the one? Vignanamaya. I'm not talking to Atma, because Atma doesn't need this knowledge. Body doesn't need this knowledge. Mind will say never mind to this knowledge. Prana doesn't require this knowledge. Who requires this knowledge? The one who is convinced I'm as good as the body, mind, sense complex. The one who has seated itself as the king of the body, mind, sense complex, to whom all the processes of the body, mind, sense complex become known. Why? Because go back to the peacock story. The crow entering the peacock convention. I shouldn't keep using that word, but anyhow. So, so the crow goes, and the crow puts on a few peacock feathers and starts to dance. Similarly, Vignanamaya borrows its light from Atma without paying the electricity bill. Free. It siphons it off. Why? Because it is made of the sattva guna. It has a godly guna, means the purest of the gunas is sattva guna, and it is made of sattva guna, so it reflects that light of consciousness within it, and very soon it appropriates the light without paying intellectual property fees, and then it says, I am this, I am as good as this, and it shines in the borrowed light, like a little personal spotlight. Sometimes the actors are going, and then there's one spotlight on one person. Like that, it shines. It shines in its finitude. What can I say? And then it is convinced, this is who I am. And this Vignanamaya has to be told that you are shining in borrowed light. And that light which you are quote unquote borrowing is from yourself alone. But Vignanamaya is Atma, because the borrowed light and the source light are the same light. But Atma is not Vignanamaya. We saw this at length in the whole 8th chapter of the Panchadashi, which we just finished studying. And there were two metaphors with which the chapter opened. First, there is a sunlit wall, and then there is a mirror lit wall playing some, sometimes children do this. They let the sun shine on the mirror and focus it on the wall so that you have some dancing orbs of light, especially if there are 3 or 4. So this Vignanamaya, is it the sunlit wall or the mirror lit? It's the mirror lit. It's the mirror light on the wall. The sunlight is the general Atma. I know, I am, I know I am. And the mirror light is I am the doer, I am the I am the knower, I am the thinker, I am the eater, I am this, I am that, the one that shines in the mirror light. The mirror lit wall is also the sunlit wall, really. But the mirror light is good for focusing on the mirror light is good for focusing on the specific knowings. And the Vignanamaya has a job because it has to identify with a certain body, mind, sense complex. Otherwise, it cannot do its job. Imagine if the Vignanamaya did not have any identification at all. You know? And then what? The body fell into a ditch. Then the Vignanamaya is wondering who fell. Instead of calling 911 and saying I had a fall, the Vignanamaya is wondering whose body is that? Who fell? Yeah. So you see, it is actually useful to say, I go, I come, I arrived, I'm departing. There's nothing wrong in that if one knows the truth of what that is and why this identification exists. The identification exists so as to protect the body from disasters like the one I just described. There is one lady who had some kind of a stroke or something, and after that she had stopped feeling all pain. She doesn't feel any pain at all. It came some news. It came in the news, and lest one start thinking, oh, what a wonderful thing to have such a body. Actually, if you hear her talk, it's like she's like a walking disaster because she doesn't know if she's too close to something like a stove or something. When she falls, she doesn't know where it has hurt so that she can get the correct treatment. So she left one unbroken bone for a very long time and it never set properly because there was no indication. Imagine how much how much pain there is in the broken bone there is. But she cannot feel anything. So like this, if the Vijnanamaya refuses to identify with the body, mind, sense complex, the subtle body, this thing, and the gross body, the one who is the master of this body, mind, sense complex, if the Vijnanamaya refused to do that, then we would have a lot of comical situations. We would have a lost and found box for thoughts. Whose thought is this? We'd have a lost and found box for dreams. We'd have a lost and found box for ideas because nobody is owning up. So the one that owns up to all this is called Vijnanamaya. And then you see how quickly this mastery gets into the head. Yeah. Somebody, Tennyson or someone said, power corrupts. And what else? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. No, Toynbee, not Tennyson. Toynbee said that. Absolute power absolutely corrupts. So this is what the whole thing is. Instead of knowing the absolute, this Vijnanamaya absolutely identifies with the relative. That is the Vijnanamaya for you. And there is no way around it. Like I said, a basic identification is needed to carry out the bodily functions. And to say that I have arrived, I have gone, I have come, one need not be in denial. In certain sadhu sects in India, they are taught to disidentify with the body at a young age, soon after ordination. So if you say, oh, when did you arrive? They will say, this came yesterday. This meaning this body came. I don't come or go, I am Atma. Correct? So when are you going to leave? This is going to leave day after tomorrow. So have you had lunch? This hasn't eaten yet. This is wondering where the food is. When is the food going to be served? This is wondering. So, and then so there is there is a story that Swamiji likes to tell. The two of the people living in this particular sect, they're called Pandarams. They went to blows. They had a fight and came to blows. And then they went to the police, or the police came and broke up this fight. Then they were asked, how did this start? And each one started to give their own version. Then they said, this one went that one. So because they are supposed to call everything is this Shiva. Shiva. They are supposed to call everything as Shiva. This Shiva saw that Shiva crossing the street. This Shiva doesn't like that Shiva. That Shiva also doesn't like this Shiva. And this Shiva did pada pada, means nicely beat the other Shiva up, and that Shiva also beat up this Shiva. We don't need all this kind of dissociation. It is a it is an as though association whose knowledge frees me from samsara and whose ignorance binds me into a finite world of wanting. That is what it is. When I look at the sunset, I don't have to falsify it. I don't have to say, this is just the earth revolving around the sun, rotating around itself. That's all it is. Big deal. I know, even knowing full well it is the earth rotating around itself that is causing this illusion of night and day and setting and rising sun, I can still enjoy it and say, what a lovely sunset. So too I can say, I ate, I went, I came, I arrived, I departed without knowing the bluff, calling the bluff. What is calling the bluff? Zooming out further. Yeah. Into knowing that the I behind the vignanamaya, it's not really behind, don't look, behind, not like the shadow or something. It's just an expression. That the I that backs up the vignanamaya, this is what I'm trying to say. We have to be careful of the words, So the I that backs up the vignanamaya is what? Is the one who observes this one who is identifying with everything. So the observing I, the non-acting I who observes the actor, the non-thinking I, the one who doesn't require to think in order to know, observes the thinking vignanamaya, the acting vignanamaya. This is the whole world of vignanam. And what does the vignanamaya do? Vignanam yajnantanute. And this is the person who says, I want to do good deeds in the world. Does yajnas, does charity. Karmani tanute picha, vijnanai yajnantanute, karmani tanute picha, vijnanan deva sarve brahmajyeshtham upasate. So this is the whole thing. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, the Vijnanamaya is responsible for two kinds of actions, both spiritual and what is the other one? Secular. Secular actions and spiritual actions are both performed by the Vijnanamaya because it is the one who says, I want good karma. I want to leave something good behind. So you see, it's not all bad. Nothing is bad. It is just the identification has to be looked at. And it's also the same one that says, I have to drop these notions because I have entered this realm of self-knowledge. And it's the same one that says, I'm having a hard time dropping the notions. I don't want to drop the notions. Why? Because I'm convinced this is not going to work. But it has worked for everybody. No, but I'm special. It will not work for me. Yeah. This is the Vijnanamaya. And it is the cause of samsara, because if I don't see the truth of these identifications, whatever I identify with binds me. Okay? And then further, अनुव्रजच्चित् प्रतिबिम्बशक्तिः विज्ञानसंज्ञं प्रकृतेर्विकारः ज्ञानक्रियवान् अहमित्यजस्रम् देहेन्द्रियादिषु अभिमन्यते भृशम्. Yeah, so this actually we have covered, but we will see the words. Anuvrajat means shines after. Anuvrajat, shines after. Shines after what? Shines after the light of Atma. So this is the reflected light of Atma, reflected in this kosha, in this locus of error called vignanamaya, where the borrowed light is assumed to be its own light. It appropriates the light for itself, and then it feels sad that, oh, I just have this little spotlight. And then this is pratibimba shakti, this reflected light. What happens? It is called vijnana sanyaha. Prakritehe vikaraha. It's a modified form of maya. So it's a creation, in other words. And what does it do? Jnana kriyavan. It is the knower, as I said, it is the doer. Doer and the knower. And doer of what? Knower of what? Aham iti. It's the knower of I am the so and so. I am the doer of so and so. Because see, even in regular, day to day talk, when you meet somebody, first thing you ask, what is your name? I am such and such, the person will say. I am John or whatever. And then the next thing, what is the question when you meet somebody? What do you do? Oh, because that is the identification. That is the signature in the world. And it's very interesting. What do you do? Do you go to work? No. Do you have a job? No. Are you independently wealthy? No. So, where is how do you sort of say, what is it that you do? And so this is all vignanamaya, because the vignanamaya is seeking the identification with the doer and the knower. So what do you do and how much do you know? This is our currency for popularity in the world. And if one is not doing anything, one is tempted to go into a lot of explanation why one is, not doing anything. So one will be sure to say, I was gainfully employed, and then I'm retired, or I was before I retired, I used to do this. See, because it's now the identification with the past doership, not even present doership. And always one feels guilty because it's almost like the other person says, "Is that all that you do?" Is that all? This is all you do? And so you have to make up stuff afterwards and say, no, I also volunteer here and I do a few things there. Because, and actually, why does one feel pressure to make up stuff? Because one is not comfortable with not doing. Yeah. And that could be one of the resistances to this knowledge, because it's all about the understanding oneself as the non-doer. Yeah. So what to do, really. So this is the doer, and then that is the first part of the social currency in for the social butterfly, the one who circulates. The second part is what? How much do you know? This is the conversation. Just supposing you are quiet and just listening, after a while they lose interest. They say, what? You're not saying anything. And I suppose even in the social media it is like that. You have that account. What is that called? No, the other one. Twitter. And I learned something new. You have a Twitter account, but you tweet. So so then you put one tweet. Yeah. And what do you say? You say, I had breakfast today. What else can you say? It's just life. So whatever it is, you say one line. And then you have to keep updating it and posting it and keep on posting it. So this is part of the social, one's social imprint in the world is how much you know. Yeah. And I saw in the waiting at the airport, I saw an advertisement on the television there. Very interesting, because it was about which phone is the fastest phone. This is the advertisement. Have you seen that one? Yeah, which is the fastest phone? So there is these two people or two, three friends are sitting, and then another person comes along and says, "Do you know that so and so is having a party?" And they show in the phone. Already got it.
Oh, right.
And already replied and already ordered present and something, it's already reaching them and we are going there soon. And then the other person, some other person comes along and says, or maybe it's the same person, I didn't pay attention, "Do you know that there is a football? Oh yes, here is the score." "Do you know that tomorrow it's going to, yeah, here it is, this is the weather forecast. Bring your umbrella." This is in the contemporary world, perhaps even in the past. The knowledge is considered power, but really, what kind of knowledge? Finite knowledge of whether it's going to rain tomorrow? you know, do I need to know so many days in advance whether it's going to rain tomorrow? Tomorrow, the ancestors had a very simple way. They woke up, and if it was raining, they put one gunny bag over the head and went to the fields. Yeah, and if it stopped raining, they took away the jute bag and they, plowed the field and seeded the field. And here we are, we just want to know all kinds of nonsense we have to know. And why we have to know? No, I have to not only know, I have to be the first one to know. This is vignanamaya it's vignanamayaitis. Yeah. Inflamed by vignanamaya. I'm acting as though I have to, know all this right now. And if I don't know, the idea is if I don't know, I'm not in control. That is vignanamayaitis. Being in control. So here the author is very polite. It says Jnanavan and Kriyavan, the one who is the knower and the doer. But this Vijnanamaya is the control king. I told you it was the king, yeah, not just any king, control king or queen, doesn't matter. Wants to have everything under its control and then focuses solely on the finite, because what else is there that it can control? The infinite doesn't need to be controlled. In fact, that which doesn't need to be controlled is the infinite, because it doesn't have a second that it can control. So, the Vijnanamaya prides itself in knowing a lot of nothing. If you know a lot of nothing, what do you know? Nothing. If you know a little bit of nothing, how much do you know? Nothing. So, the whole world is geared towards, knowing all this fast, quickly. And why? And then there's all these, one more word is there, not tweeting, one more, trending. Trending. You have to be trending. I don't know what quite that means. Meaning people are talking about you, I suppose.
You have to do it first.
Yeah, you have to do it first and then people start to, and then another viral, The videos which go viral. Videos also have virus, really. So the videos go viral means everybody is looking at it at the same time. Yeah. And it's just one cat chasing its tail. That's all. Big deal, What happens if you don't see it? Did your life change after seeing it? Was your quality of life any different before you saw it? Now think about this, really. But then caught in the midst of it, especially if one is, the younger generation, what it starts to do is convince itself that without this there is no life at all. This is called vignanamayaitis. More we shall see on Friday, this coming Friday, 7th. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Not bad, huh? Tweeting, trending, viral. Lot of things we covered today. Do you have any questions? Yes?
I'm still thinking about those. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like, okay, so if I don't want like the politics to bother me, then I get stuck into this. Well, then okay, I don't have to pay attention. I can just vote for who I want. But if I don't say anything, then maybe the wrong person will get elected. So it's hard to not feel like I need to have an impact in some way by having an opinion. Because if I don't express my opinion, maybe the wrong person will. It's hard to just let go and see who gets it.
Dharma says, make the greatest evil first.
Do your duty. Your duty as a citizen is to vote.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to be informed. To be an informed voter, that's enough. And then there is a difference between an informed voter and an overloaded with information voter. Yeah. This info overload is vignanamaya. Vignanamayaitis. Yeah. The one who wants to know a lot of nothings in order to have control. Yeah. This is what
Well,
it
and
is.
if you're really passionate about a candidate, you can volunteer and,
Or
go
not.
out and,
Send money.
Yeah.
what is it? When they wear out your shoes, come later. Shoes on.
All the best.
It's not going to change anybody's mind. I'm pretty clear about that.
What do you do here?
Mine
Just
is-
say stop.
say